Hey anime lovers, Thunderpoke is here. So, Jinny is a young girl we are introduced to in Kuma's flashback. She could be an important character's mother, which is Luffy. Obviously, One Piece recently dove deep into another incredible flashback that began on Egghead Island. This time, the character who is currently under focus is Bonney, the daughter of Kuma. These two characters have been incredibly important in the beginning of the final saga, and their stories tie directly to some major places in the One Piece world that fans have been waiting for Oda to explore, such as God Valley. In the flashback of Bartholomew Kuma, fans finally got to explore this legendary place, and at the same time, were introduced to new characters, among which there is a young girl named Ginny. Fans are already wondering as to who Ginny is, and there are quite a lot of ideas floating around already. So, who is Ginny? Ginny was introduced to the fans on God Valley in Kuma's flashback. When Kuma was born, it was revealed that he carried the blood of the Buccaneer race, which he inherited from his father, who was the last surviving member of this race. His mother was a normal human. This race was hunted down by the world government, and when news about Kuma being a member of this race leaked, the entire family was enslaved and taken back to the Holy Land of Marijo. Kuma lost both his parents there and ultimately became a permanent slave. As revealed by Saturn, the Buccaneer race committed a grave crime against the world government a long time ago in the past. That is precisely why they were eradicated, and Kuma is now the last surviving member of this group. While he survived, he could easily have died when the world government held a slave hunting competition in God Valley. On this island, Kuma tried to escape, and he was eventually found by two characters who seem to be very intriguing. One of them is Ivankov, who fans are very familiar with. As was revealed in One Piece chapter 1095. Ivankov was also a slave once. The other character with Ivankov who was introduced in One Piece chapter 1095 for the very first time was none other than Jinny. At first, it was very difficult for the fans to make out who this character is. However, it didn't take them too long to connect the dots and figure out the real identity of this person and the role that she would go on to play in One Piece. And now the main question is Jinny Luffy's mom? So, 99% that she is not. Well, when Jinny was introduced, fans could see her with a big smile on her face and a piece of meat in her hand which she was chewing on. This is eerily similar to a character that fans know very well, and that is Luffy. Jinny looks very similar to Luffy as well in terms of appearance, and there are ideas floating around that she is Luffy's mom. However, fans must remember that in order for her to be Luffy's mom, she should be tied more to the character of Dragon than Kuma or Ivankov. Furthermore, fans also know that Ivankov had no idea about Dragon having any family. Had Jinny been Luffy's mom, then Ivankov would certainly have known that, given that he was extremely close with her in the past, by the looks of it. This all but confirms the fact that Jinny is not Luffy's mom, but she is still a very important character going forward nonetheless. Right now, she only appears to be a slave who hasn't played any major role in the flashback. However, as the story continues to explore God Valley, fans will see that she will become a very important character. Fans can expect Jinny to form a special relationship with Kuma, and when that happens, these two can become incredibly close to each other. Of course, fans will have to wait in order for the flashback to explore this aspect of the story properly. There are another rumor or question going around that, is Jinny Bonney's mom? Another popular idea suggests that Jinny is Jewelry Bonney's mom. Unlike the idea of Jinny being Luffy's mom, this one makes a lot of sense. Fans can fully expect her to be Bonney's mom for various reasons. For starters, both Jinny and Bonney were introduced in One Piece in a similar way. Jinny was seen smiling and chewing on meat. When Bonney was introduced in Sabbath, she was seen chewing on meat and eating pizza as well. Both of them seem to have an eating habit, and their introductions are very similar. At the same time, the hair color of this character could also confirm who she is to the fans. For now, there is no hair color given to her. However, fans know for a fact that it is, at least, not black, like Luffy's. Jinny likely has pink hair, and that is something that Bonney might have gotten from her. Furthermore, it must be remembered that both she and Ivankov ended up saving Kuma. Fans know that Kuma formed a great friendship with Ivankov, such that they could be considered best friends. Jinny, most likely, would then have a very strong bond with Kuma as well. In her case, she would end up becoming his lover later down the line. Of course, none of this is confirmed just yet, and it is speculative. However, the foundation for this idea is very strong, and fans will most likely see it get confirmed over the course of the next few weeks, when the God Valley flashback continues. Let me tell you about Jinny's overall character in One Piece. For now, Jinny has not played any major role in the God Valley flashback. However, over the course of the next few chapters, fans can expect great things from her character. She is a slave, and, more importantly, just like Ivankov, she wants to chase freedom as well. She will also attempt to free Kuma and pursue freedom with him. If these three slaves end up forming a team and resisting the celestial dragons, fans can see her get a pronounced role. Eventually, down the line, she will most likely become an important person to Kuma. Fans have surprisingly not seen her in One Piece so far. She should, by all means, have been a part of the Revolutionary Army. However, so far, she is nowhere to be seen. This suggests that Jinny could very well have died in the story, leaving behind Bonney. This is a very interesting idea that Oda could explore over the course of the next few chapters. This would make Bonney's story even more compelling, and fans absolutely cannot wait for that. The God Valley flashback will most likely see even bigger powers join the fray, such as the Rock's pirates, and potentially even Dragon. If and when that happens, fans should be ready to see the basis of the Revolutionary Army being formed. It appears that the characters of Ivankov, Kuma, and Jinny are going to be central to the God Valley flashback, and later on, likely to the establishment of the Revolutionary Army as well. That's it. Now before leaving this video, please drop a like, and make sure to subscribe Thunderpoke. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye and have a good day. Thank you.